Hello, welcome. All right, so this is accountability call number 10 for us. If you are joining us, it's time to write your goals for the week, right? This is what we do every week. I gather myself and my friends, Eve and Zenitra, who is not with us today because she is flying back home from Howard Homecoming. Shout out to HU. So get your notebook out, whatever notebook you use for your goals or your to-dos. Get you a pen and use this time to write out your goals for the week. What are the top things that you want to accomplish? And these aren't things that you are necessarily just responsible for, right? I was watching a video yesterday about accountability versus responsibility. And he was talking about how, like, the things you are responsible for, if you think about like a job, like the things you're responsible for are like the bullet points that are in the job description, right? Like, maybe for me when I was a solutions consultant, like, I'm responsible for responding to RFPs, right? Whenever they're sent to us from the RFP team. I'm also responsible for potentially demoing software to the client. And another thing we were responsible for was creating a statement of work, right? So what are the actual things that we're going to be required to do? But the difference is these are things that I'm responsible for. But when it comes to the point of accountability is a choice. So for instance, like if my job is to demo software to the client, like our software, and I go to try to demo the software, right? To prepare to demo the software and something's not working, that is technically not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to fix the software, right? It's not even my responsibility to find out what's wrong with it. But if I am an accountable person, someone who, wants to get to the end goal, right? Then I will have to be accountable for finding out what's wrong with it so that I can get to my responsibility, right? Like, so I found that to be really interesting because he talks about how, accountability is a personal choice. And so on these calls, I feel like what we do is we hold ourselves accountable to getting to the goal, regardless of, maybe the hiccups, the obstacles, the other things that are showing up in our life day to day, and week to week, because life is lifing. Okay. So if you're someone who you have specific goals in your life, like, that you want to achieve, there aren't really things that you're responsible for, right? So, for instance, I'm a mother and I'm responsible for feeding my children. That is not necessarily on my to-do list, right? Like I just do that every day. But some of the things that I want to hold myself accountable to is going after my dreams, building my business, creating a travel lifestyle, maintaining and building generational wealth through real estate. So these are some of the things that I'm holding myself accountable to in this season of my life. So this is why we do this call. So Eve, welcome. How was your day today? It's bright and early on Monday.
Yeah, it is. I love that, Izzy. Thank you so much for providing the word for people on Monday morning. But no, I'm good. I think I got a little bit of the jitters, but I think it's like a good jitters because I'm about to, to your point, you said you following your dreams, like you're using this call for us to have accountability in following our dreams, and I think uh I'm being real about my dreams and really, stepping into it, starting like today.
Good time.
um,
Good
so yeah,
time.
I got a little bit of the jitters, but I'm good. I'm drinking my smoothie. Had my breakfast. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Fabulous. So this week I wanted to do our accountability call a little bit different and add a little flavor to it. And I don't think you were on the call last week, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
When
You and Z
what
be
happened?
flippity flopping, flippity
Right.
flopping. I'll be here to be one of y'all, like joining. Um, so I wanted to know from last week. Now I know just because you're not on the call does not mean you don't have your goals laid out because that is
Hello.
the type of organized life you live. Um, So, what is one of the biggest, lessons that you learned last week, right? It could be in life or specifically in achieving one of your goals. Ha ha.
Jesus,
Feel
Lord.
free to share stories.
The biggest lesson I learned last week. Oh God, where do I start? um, I think the biggest lesson I learned last week was to believe in the power of my tongue. I think besides you were there, Alana was also there. But I
Mhm.
think in the sense of just like when you pray, cast a spell, manifest, affirm, say out loud, um, what you want, that like God will give it to you. God will give you what you need, but maybe not in the way that you want it. But it's up
Mhm.
to you to have like the wisdom and discernment to realize like, okay, that was the message. That was the permission to like, okay, elevate, next step, move forward, let go, surrender, um, a pull towards you, all of those things. So I feel like I guess it almost goes back a little bit to like belief, because I feel like the biggest uh you would call it sin, or the biggest thing that I feel like that I do repeatedly, um that I'm always working on, is worrying. Like to stop being a warrior and stay a warrior. Um
I like that. Don't be a worrier.
mhm.
Or maintain your warrior status. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like for me, last week was a, a more of a glimpse, or more of an understanding, or more of a confirmation that when I just sit in when I sit in what I know really works for me, and actually say, what I want, that I'm gonna get it. It may not come necessarily in the way that I necessarily want, but allow that permission, or allow that confirmation of the permission to like follow your dreams, stay who you are, like lean into that. I think that was the biggest thing I picked up last week, aside from everything we were talking about in like feminine energy and stuff like that. That was amazing, but that was my takeaway from last week for sure.
Okay. Yes. My
Hmm.
takeaway from last week was really like it's similar to yours with regard to it not showing up the way you would expect. But to me, it was like really lean in to the favor in my life. Right. It's like, don't like I was saying to you, like, don't you ever doubt us. Okay. Like, okay. Like, don't ever, like, it was just like, I really learned, like, don't ever doubt the favor over your life. Like, and don't take the favor over your life for granted. Like, I feel like we are, especially people who, if you're watching this, you're probably somebody who's always been an achiever, right? People who are used to writing goals every week. Most people don't do this, right? This is not the norm. This is our norm, but it's not the norm, right? And so the people who are watching this, you are probably an achiever. You're probably somebody who's always gone after your goals. You're probably somebody who, dreams big, and you have also overcome a lot. Because again, people who go after things are going to be met by obstacles. You're going to be met by challenges, right? Internal and external. And so if you're able to say, well, I'm here, right? And these are the things that I have accomplished, and I'm sure the list is long, then there's a favor over your life, right? And so for me, it was just like, don't just don't take that for granted. Don't assume that it's not a big deal, because it's a big deal, right? It is like the covering that guarantees almost that it's going to work out. Whatever the thing is that you're going through, that it's going to work out. And the more you can lean into the expectation that it is going to work out, then you can take action from that place, as opposed to from the place of, well, I don't know, well, I'm not sure, well, don't look the way I wanted to look, well, I'm nervous and I'm scared. And like, if you lean into that, like just me leaning into that favor, like that changed my whole week last week. Like my first goal for last week was secure $10,000 in cash. And that was supposed to be me calling my family, right, for my real estate property. And then I was like, I also want to send my property to 10 different private lenders, right? So I was just like, I need to find 10 different private lenders, like somebody, because we need to raise $30,000. And so I got this outline from Eve, because she also does real estate. And I was trying to put together my deal plan and just all of these things, right? To prepare to put in all this effort to try to find the money for my property. And lo and behold, the Lord was like, you playing checkers and I'm playing chess. And there's a piece on the board that's been on the board forever. You forgot about. I'm gonna just slide that right in front of you. Like, that's favor. Like, so, and I was able to like not have to do any of that stuff. Like I accomplished my goal of finding people to fund the property, but I didn't have to do none of that because of the favor. So that was my biggest like takeaway last week. It was just like, whoa, like, because I had intentionally said, if you watched last week, that my word for the week was favor. And so I leaned into it, and I talked about like, how I didn't want to, even though I wrote the things to do, I didn't want to have to do them. I wanted to leave into my feminine energy, and just have it come to me. And sure enough, it did. So it was just like, yeah, like this is number one, it's possible to achieve in your feminine energy. Number two, like, don't ever doubt the favor on your life, period. Don't ever doubt. Like, you are on mute, girl. Like,
No, I just love it so much. I was saying it so much that I was like, don't you ever doubt
ever.
us.
Okay.
It's so good.
Yes.
I
So,
love it.
um, if you're watching this, like, drop a lesson that you learned last week in the comments as well. If you're an achiever, then I'm sure that you learned some lessons along this way. Okay, so we're gonna jump into these goals. All right. So last week, again, my first goal was to find the money. I found the money. These other goals I ain't accomplished. Okay, like I was supposed to do my speakers deck, it ain't done. I was supposed to send it to the person who I'm creating for, that ain't done either. And I was supposed to create my Q4 plan for marketing and sales, and that ain't done either, because all of my week was spent on finding the money and getting the money and applying for the money for my property. So this week is going to look very similar to the last link, apparently, with regard to my goals. So my first goal is finalizing all of my private money applications. So we have we have one that's already going, and then we have another one that we want to apply for, which is amazing, because like my husband actually reached out to the person who helped us fund our property initially, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. Like, duh. He was a broker for us, so we're going to leverage him as well. And then this is all one goal, because this all falls under real estate. So that, and we're going to be interviewing some new team members for our team for our real estate property this week too. In addition to that, I need to complete my speakers deck like I was supposed to last week. I'm hoping to be able to get that at least almost done today, with regard to the outline done today. And then I need to create my plan for Q4, because we are fully into Q4 at this point. I need to hit the ground running. I have actually spoke about some of my plan. I was on a podcast interview yesterday. And I spoke a little bit about my plan. I was like, I need to get it together so that it comes to fruition by the time they release this podcast. Like, so I'm be running on that one. And then also my self-care goal is to write. Like last week I spent time writing, and it was important for me. That was actually my self-care goal last week as well, because I have learned about myself that, whenever I'm encountering the obstacles, when I'm trying to be accountable to my goals, that it helps for me to just kind of write out what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, plans, so that I can break through any mental blocks in order to get to the action to complete these things. So these are my plans for the week.
Sounds very, very robust list.
Mhm.
We gonna get it all done.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
must complete. You must complete.
Yes. Well, and
Um,
really the thing is about these are, and if you're writing goals, right now I'm in a place where I'm like, the goals I'm writing are the things that are going to move the needle like now. Like these aren't lofty goals like, oh, well, I need this, in 2 months. Like, no, I need this right now so that to 2 months, in, in 2 weeks, so that in 2 weeks it looks different, right, in my business. So yeah, like those, like that's really what I've been focusing on is like what is going to move the needle this week or next week.
that's a good point. Yep. Yeah, I'm currently in my last week was just being rich auntie. Like I'm currently in Ohio. Um, I'm supporting a friend, her toddler and her newborn. So, um, it's been providing a lot of routine and a lot of you only have this amount of time to get certain stuff done. So
Welcome to motherhood.
look, so like 2 days ago, I was a single mama too. Okay, from 7 to 9. um, so yeah, I think for me, especially just thinking about like the time constraints. Mm, Last week, I accomplished everything I need to do. I got some news, so now I'm pivoting. Um, but yeah, I did everything I need to do. I'd like
What did you say?
get my assistant. Hmm?
I said you were breaking up a little bit. What did you just say?
Oh, I said I I got a lot of work done last week. In the sense of like edited, give my assistant more videos to edit for Eva's strategy. We're like pushing to like 180 videos now, which is crazy. So I got another 20 videos coming out. Um uh did some real estate stuff, did a lot of networking calls, and was being rich auntie. I would say for this week, I'm ending a contract today.
Mm,
Which is now gonna free up my time to work on a project that I have. Can't talk about it yet because paperwork needs to be signed.
yes.
But your girl is gonna most likely be pitching like next week. All I know, just think Black Eliza Thornberry, y'all. Black Eliza Thornberry, y'all. We're gonna be outside, okay?
I feel like
What
it's interesting because I'm like almost. I feel like you are too young to know about the Thornberries, but technically, I feel like
you talking
I
about?
was
I'm
just yeah, I was
old.
just into cartoons at an older age. Like I was still into cartoons when I was like 18. So I'm like, I don't know how you know about the Thornberries. I'm really not sure. Like, because I feel like they
How? What?
like
Yeah, I know all about these American shows. Okay, I'm a wishbone between the lions, big comfy couch, a
yeah,
big blue house girl. Okay, like I know all of the shows.
yes, serious.
Channel 2 WLRN. If you ain't had no cable, you know if you know. um. So let me see. Yeah. So basically, That's probably gonna take up a lot of my time. Is basically coming up with what I would be proposing to that team before I sign paperwork and stuff. So um uh more networking call in real estate. So that's basically it.
Wait, what's
And
the actual goal for real estate?
real estate, mine is basically that team. I'm doing some part-time dispo work. I need to help them find a buyer for a property in Oklahoma. So
Okay.
my goal is to give them a property in Oklahoma so I can get my little dollars. Um yeah, so real estate, get a property in Oklahoma. Networking, I'm networking with 4 people this week. In regards to like getting like small contracts for stuff in the meantime while I'm working on the dream project. Finalize the proposal for my dream project.
You said networking? Oh, to get additional projects?
Yeah, like small gigs to get some dollars.
Okay.
hmm And then yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. I have a speaking engagement, but it's in December, so I don't really have to prepare for it yet. But probably should start thinking about that. Um, Prepare for my speaking engagement. Um, Yeah. What did I say again?
See, this is why we got an accountability call. Okay, so the first thing is you need to create the Eliza Thornberry proposal. Okay.
Yeah,
And
basically.
you need to secure a buyer for the property in Oklahoma.
Yep.
And also reach out to your network to get some small gigs.
Create, yeah, Eliza Thornberry proposal, buyer in Oklahoma,
Yes.
small gigs.
Mhm.
Um,
I feel like you need to prepare for your speech in December. It's October.
yeah, prep for
I'm
speaking
like,
engagement.
like,
Yeah, prep. Yeah, prep December speaking engagement. Yep. I got that down.
so what is it
My
like an outline?
For the speaking engagement.
Yeah. What are you gonna do to prepare?
Oh, it's a panel, so I need to reach out to them to like ask them what are the questions that they are
Oh,
giving to like the panel, so that I can like give myself some time to think about it. But also too, I love actually interviewing people for speaking engagements that I have, so I could like see if I'm like, oh, okay, then this is exactly how I think, or let me see how you do stuff. So yeah, I
okay.
make it be fun. So I'm gonna do that.
I'm
All
putting
right, I got all of that then.
questions for the December panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
The
Okay,
other
create.
thing is, people, when you're creating these goals, like make sure it's something that you can actually control, right?
Yeah.
So, um, what is it? Myron Golden talks about having, what is that? He says it's not outcomes, right? It's more like um actions, and I can't remember what the word is, but basically, like, for instance, he's like, my goal is not to get, 1,500 subscribers, right? Because you can't control who's going to subscribe, right?
No.
But my goal is to put up 3 videos a week, right? Because you can control,
Right.
right? So when
Yep.
you're creating your goals, like, one thing that I've learned is like make it something that you can actually control, because you're gonna feel like you failed, but you was never in control of it in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this is good. Okay, now I'm even feeling better because I'm just like, okay, I could do for each thing I got, I could do one of them each day. Like that's supposed to be my focus for the day, and that is
Mhm.
enough. That's another thing. Not putting so much stuff on your plate in one day. Like today, I'm like full of calls because I'm like ending a contract, and whatnot, and just wrapping things up. Um, and then like the rest of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 4 more days left. I said 4 things. It's like pick one for that day. Just theme the day and just go in. It just depends on like who you are, how you work. For me, it takes me like 3 times to touch something before I'm done.
Mm,
So I may even like schedule out things like I may take a task of like create the Eliza Thornberry proposal and like get to 30%, get to 70%, review, get to 100%, and I'll put that on my calendar so that I feel like I'm giving myself enough time to think, create, brainstorm, actually finalize, get feedback, finish up. Or if I feel like I just need to take the whole day to do it, I'll do that. So even with some of your goals, like figure out like how do you want to expend your energy in order to get it done. You know.
mhm. Yes, exactly. I think that's a great idea. What is your self-care goal for the week?
And I'm like, self care what? When I got 50, 11 children, kids.
Girl, we must maintain ourselves.
Rich auntie status, baby. What is my self care goal? I was resisting saying this, but I feel like I need to do it. I'm in trauma therapy, and my therapist give me like a crazy exercise to do. And the goal of getting through it does help me in my overall self care for my life, but I'm just resisting doing it because it's a lot.
Definitely
But
need to do it. Is it inner
I
child?
no, it's basically there's this traumatic event that I had in my life that she wants me to go back and literally write out what happened, like as much as I remember, like story form, like as much as possible. And the goal is that once I'm done writing it today, I need to read it every single day, out loud, until I meet her, and then basically highlight the points if I feel like I can. Where I was like, what are some of the things that happened in that story that right now, even if it was a word, a scent, um, a certain environment, that if I'm in it, it makes me uncomfortable because I may not recognize it She's basically trying to see like
Okay,
how
how that event it can trigger you now in your life.
basically, yeah, and then figuring out like how to get over that or go through the process of getting over that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no, yeah, I'm not excited.
Good, good. This is good, honey. This is good.
Yeah, girl, yeah. So yeah, I need that. That is my self care work for the
Yes,
week.
yes. I'll put trauma therapy homework.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it is? It's not even just the homework. It's like allowing yourself to go to this very scary place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And trusting that you got your back when you get there, right? That Eve today, right? You have your back. You have the tools when you get there to be able to process this, to
Mm-hmm.
experience it again,
Mm-hmm.
to, purge and
Yep.
also to analyze it, right? You have the tools and you have your back um to the point where you won't be stuck there, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go there, you won't be stuck there. And it won't be the same experience, even though it may feel in some ways the same, but it won't be the same experience because this time you're choosing to go there,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's really what I think is going to be important when you do that, and not just completing it, but just being like, you know what, like the big Eve got little Eve's back, right? Like,
Yeah.
coming there to bring you out, girl. I'm coming there to bring you
Let's
out.
go. Don't you ever
Yes,
doubt us.
don't you ever like doubt your ability to bring yourself out. Okay. Oh
Mm,
yes,
thank
yes.
you. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Um. Yeah, this is good. And you know what, y'all? Go to therapy.
Go to
Okay.
therapy.
Like,
Go to therapy. Just go to
or get
therapy.
you a coach. Like, period. Both and
Both.
okay. 'Cause coaches
Both.
really focus on like, forward action. Like therapy is really gonna help you to heal some wounds that could be blocking you and stopping you and triggering you and just all the things like that you just aren't even aware of. Like, because we don't take the time to reflect because we're just going, right?
Right.
Like we're just going. Um, so yeah, it's like go to therapy. It's a thing.
It's a
Um,
thing.
okay, so this is where we do the word of the week, people.
Word of the week.
The
Oh, word of the week.
and the word of the week is, so if you made it to this point, I hope you have written down your goals for the week. You need at least
Hello.
3, at most 5, because we're not overdoing it. And
Mm-mm.
one of the uh goals needs to be self-care in some way, because we gotta take care of ourselves on this journey to greatness. But then the word of the week, what we do is we think about like what is the word that we can stand on this week in order to achieve our goals that is going to bring us the energy or is going to be like the foundation of our mindset for the week. So yes, Eve, what do you think your word?
Lord and Lord. The word. What is the word? The word. What is the word? Um, I'm always saying like, what is the word? I'm resisting.
Ah,
um,
right, because that's usually
right.
the thing. Like that's usually
That's usually the word we gonna go with.
yes.
Oof. I know y'all be listening on here trying to figure out y'all word for the week too. So
Yes, like and sometimes you just gotta talk through it, like,
yeah. I'm
like
just like I'm trying to figure out who am I trying to be this week. That's kind of what's coming
mhm,
in my mind. Who am I trying to be this week?
mhm. And who do you need to be in order to achieve these things,
Oof.
right? Like, who do you need to be able to achieve these things um this week? I'm like, I gotta find my word. And the problem is I don't want to use the same word. Like we try to use a different word every week.
Right, right,
My
right,
word
right.
last week was transformative. Okay. So I'm like, I need
Oh,
to think, marinate, whatever the word is this week, honey. It need to come through the way the word did last week. Okay.
right.
Because favor was like, woo, that was monumental. I forget what Z's word last week was. What
What
was
was it? Yeah, what was these words?
Oh, joy. That's what it was.
Oh, you know that's gonna make me happy.
We're
Oh,
leaning into the joy of life, and the energy of joy. Um, any thoughts? Any thoughts?
yeah. The word that's actually come to my mind is celebration.
Oh, I love this. I love this for you.
And
Why?
I'm like, why am I resisting celebration? That's
Because it
crazy.
probably is. Well, no. Why do you think you're really resisting it?
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm gonna be really real. For this very long but short life that I've been living, yes, I think sometimes I sit back and I'm just like, what do I have to show for it? Everything that I'm doing, like always trying to make sure that your movement actually does equal progress. For myself, for my family, for the Afro diaspora, for people in general, I guess. And I think with last week literally also too being so transformative,
Right.
um and then all these what I'm just gonna call miracles coming to me. I'm like, wow, am I ready to receive my blessing? Am I at this point? And I feel like that's what I want to celebrate, is that everything that I've been through, specifically in these last few years, like it really has prepared me to receive my blessing. Like I really feel like last week was like a transformative, like, well, here's your miracle. Like, what you gonna do with it? Like, the door's open, walk through. So I feel celebratory.
Mm,
I feel and I want to keep leaning into that, the celebration that, like, I'm elevating. Like I'm entering into, like, my a phase of life that truly is going to be molded by, like, who I am and not necessarily what I do. So, and I think that's something to celebrate.
mm-hmm. I love it.
Hmm.
I love that. And also, like, even the thought that you have of what do I have to show for it, is an indication that you need to celebrate more. When you
Well,
okay, when you achieve and when you accomplish, you need to celebrate more. Like, because it feels, and that's the thing about goals, like you are going after them for so long that when you get them,
just be like,
it's not as big of a thing because you have been living in the idea of them for so long, right? They talk
yeah,
about, like, how manifestation happens sometimes. Like last week was, yeah, I've never had anything happen that fast. Like, but usually, like for instance, with our real estate property, we were looking for a property for a very long time. Like it wasn't like, it miraculously appeared. Like we analyzed and we looked and we looked and we looked and we searched and we talked and blah. And so by the time we closed on our property, yes, it was great, but we were on to the next goal. Like it was like, okay, now we gotta do the other things, right? So it wasn't like this huge, like, celebration for a long time and really just reveling in the fact that we have a property, because we had already been in the mindset of like we are already property owners for so long. So that's what is important to do, is celebrate. Like make sure y'all celebrating, especially if you are achiever and you are ambitious, make sure you celebrating. So,
yeah.
interesting. What'd you say?
No, yeah, I think it goes to show, like, because people always talk about, like, fall in love with the journey and not the destination and everything like that. But I don't know. I feel like we need to be better about both. Like I was telling Halana that, like, I am who I want to become. Like I already am her. So even that in and of itself, like, it's something to, like, sit with and be like, oh well, yeah, celebrate. Like, let's go. Like I'm already operating as the woman that I know that I am,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to become, or am. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am her. She is me. So we gonna celebrate. So yeah, that feels really good. I feel like even that, like that's with this word that I chose for this week. It's not even like this week. It's like for life. Like And I need to remind my friends of that too. Like, no, we're gonna celebrate ourselves every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm thinking because the word is not coming to me. Um, as I look at these goals, I'm like, the things that I'm looking at are all preparation for the outcomes that I want at the end of this year and even the beginning of next year. Um, and you know, it's it's almost like as I'm thinking about like Q4, right? And I'm thinking about how it makes me think about like the fourth quarter of a game, like a basketball game or a football game, and how like before that time you've put in quite a bit of work, right? Like you put in quite a bit of work, but you may be in a place where you're still not winning, right? Like you don't feel like you're winning, or maybe just the points on the board, like you barely winning, right? Or you just straight up lose. Um, and a lot of times in these types of games, a lot can change in the fourth quarter. Like a lot can change in the fourth quarter. Like it can be like, you know, you were 20 points down, and in the fourth quarter somehow you won by 3. Like it's just what? How? Um, and I feel like this year for me has been a game. Like it has been a game where I felt like I have been battling definitely Q4, I mean Q3, some of Q2, like just like been battling to win the game, right? And now I'm in Q4, and the interesting thing is like whereas in Q2 and Q3 I kind of was like, I don't know if we're gonna win this game. I think we just might lose. Like just I think I might lose. I think we might lose. But in Q4 I'm like I mean we definitely can still win. Like with there's a high likelihood the things that I've learned, the energy I'm in, for a while there I was talking about like being in the energy of the one. Now I'm leaning into the expectation and the favor of my life. I am able to see with my third eye. I feel like the things that I'm encountering, I'm not seeing with my normal eye, I'm seeing with my third eye and using my intuition more. I know what works to get me over the finish line when things are difficult. And I'm implementing it. I'm living off of my calendar. One of my biggest goals this year was to live off of my calendar. And I actually am living off a calendar, which is crazy. So I feel like my word for the week, I feel like my word for the week is going to be win, right? Like it's going to be win. Because if I think about like a basketball game or a football game, like when they get into the fourth quarter, like in order to win, like you just have to be focused on winning. That's it. Like you have to do everything, put everything out there, get all your effort and really focus on winning, right? Not focus on the obstacles. Don't focus on the doubt. Don't focus on, what has happened in quarter 1, 2, and 3. Like you just have to focus on winning. And so I feel like that's going to be my word for the week is like win. Like I'm like, period. Like this week, regardless of what happens, like I'm going to win, right? I'm going to win the week and inevitably I'm going to win the year.
Come on, Nezzy, come through. Yo. Winning, it goes kind of go back to what I said. Like we're gonna get what we want, but it's not. We're gonna get what we need, but it's probably not gonna show up in the way that we want. Like I don't know. I feel like whenever going through the journey of getting to where we need to go, I guess the perception of just like the fact that I'm in the game. the fact that I'm running, the fact that I'm scoring points, the fact that I'm being strategic, like um just the mindset shift of just being like, well, I've literally already won because I'm already making so many steps that maybe others are not making, or like steps that I never thought I even saw myself making. You know what I mean? So like you for sure, and like knowing you and seeing everything that you've been doing, oh my gosh, Nezzy, like when I tell you, girl, you have already won.
Girl,
For sure.
that's the
For
mindset
sure.
we're gonna keep. Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
This is hilarious. I just just got a text message from my father and said he got selected to be a juror for jury duty. He got selected. They would select him, but Jesus Lord, I can't.
I
Anywho,
love it. I can see pop up in
I
there
be getting
like,
selected for jury duty all the time, like to go
yeah.
to jury duty, but I'm never selected to be an actual juror, right? But he is actually selected, like to be on.
What?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Which is hilarious because my father is a, ex-police officer, like, sheriff's officer. And right now he works security, and just so I'm not surprised completely, but I'm just like, see, you should have told me.
yo, he just gonna be in there like, that is correct.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the type of week he about to have.
Whoa.
So anywho, I hope you all got through your goals. I hope you have them written down for the week.
Yep.
Drop some goals in the comments. Drop your word in the comment and the why you chose that word, please, so that we can hold you accountable. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
We got you.
Yes. And we will be back next week. See
Yes. Bye.
y'all.